There's a lot here. How does this play out?
Well, Skip, well, kind of James Harden has him over a barrel. Skip, they moved heaven and earth to get Russell Westbrook, so they traded Chris Paul and gave up first-round draft picks to get Russ. So they don't really have a whole lot. And so now James Harden, because you built the roster around James Harden, and James Harden wants out. So when you turn down $50 million, Skip, what has happened is that your top players, you know, back in the day, back in the 80s, only a handful of guys, maybe Jordan, Bird, had shoe deals. Skip, now you got the top 10 guys got shoe deals, which allows them to say, nah, I ain't taking that, bro. I want to go here, get me here, or else. Now, as Jenny read, they are no obligation because they got him for 3 more years, Skip. So they got him. It's not like, okay, well, I'm going to sign it after next year. I'm going to play this year out, and I'm going to bounce. No. Then they still have him 2 more years after that. But because he seems to have he wants out so bad, and Houston is starting to disassemble. They traded Robert Covington. Russ says, I want out. Now, you're not going to get the compensation back that you gave up to get Russ. Now, I'm looking at Milwaukee and what they got for True Holiday. Oh, Skip, I'm going to need me about 7, 8 first-round picks. I'm going to need me about 4 or 5. Skip, if True Holiday can get basically what Anthony Davis got, what you think Houston's going to want for James Harden? James Harden's the top 3 or 4 player in all the NBA. And so I'm going to want this kind of compensation. I don't know what Tillman Fertitta thought. I don't know, Skip, if he said, you know what, hey, there's a new sheriff in town, and I'm going to do things my way. Don't do things your way. The NBA is different than any other sport, Skip. When you make moves, coaching the players, you better talk to your top player or your top 2 players, or this is how it's going to end. The report is that he didn't run anything by James Harden. The moves that he was making, he didn't run that by Harden. Harden wasn't having it. He says, I see everybody else. I see LeBron James. I see Giannis. I see Steph Curry. I see Brown. I see KD. All of them get situations run by them. I'm equal to. Skip, I don't know how this is going to play out because Kyrie and James Harden, and what's going to start to happen, you see now, I'm reading the papers and I see all the headlines, should KD want to play with James Harden? Kyrie said, wait a goddamn minute. It was my idea to begin with, and now y'all already done cut me out before the man get here. Skip, you see what's brewing on the horizon. James Harden, they're going to have to move him. He's causing too big of a stink already. Now, they don't have to, but I believe they will move him, and I'm going to want a king's ransom. I'm going to want the players, the Allen, the Jared Allen, the Spencer Dinwiddie, the Karis LeVert, and give me about 4 first-round picks. Because True Holiday got 3 first-round picks and 2 players.
Yep. Okay, you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
All right, my turn. First of all, I dispute your contention that James Harden has the Rockets over a barrel. I believe the Rockets now have the whole league over a barrel, including James Harden, because the signal was, as you point out, the Robert Covington trade said to me, NBA, we are starting over.
Right.
So they're going to look for an exit for Russell Westbrook, and I have no idea what that is. I don't know how you get out from under that. That's going to be much harder to do than the flip side of this, which is the James Harden trade.
That was my point. You're not going to get back for Russ what you gave up to get him.
No way.
You got CP3. You gave up CP3, but you get Russ, and you gave up 2 draft picks.
Okay, so now it looks like it's going to be an all-out auction for James Harden.
Yes.
So the Rockets will say, come on, come all, what you got? And James Harden, as we know, he hasn't been a winning basketball player, but he has been a revolutionary basketball player.
He's been box office.
He is huge box office. When he plays, I watch.
Yes.
Even more than Russell Westbrook.
Absolutely. Yeah.
When James Harden plays, I know it could be 50, it could be 60, it could be 40 free throws. it could be something I have never seen before.
Right.
And he's still writing. He's in his prime at 31. He's played 11 years, so he's starting to creep toward the backside of his career. But does he have another couple of MVP caliber? You better believe he does. So it's rare that a player like this comes on the open market via trade.
Yes.
This isn't free agency, obviously. So all of a sudden, everybody's going to come with their best shot.
Right.
And somebody might come with a better shot than the Nets. So then it will come down to how much clout does James Harden have, because they got him under contract.
Right.
And can he force his way to the Nets? Not really.
Not really.
No, I mean, he can try. He can say, I won't be happy there, and we'll see how much power he actually has. Right. But there might come up a better situation where he says, ooh, I kind of like that.
But, Skip, if you look at the landscape, the Nets have the best package, or is the Heat? What are the Heat willing to give up? The Heat not giving up Bam. They're not giving up Tyler Hero to get James Harden.
Knowing Pat Riley the way I do, I would never underestimate what he will come up with.
Skip, he's not giving up Bam. He's not giving up Bam. Skip, I'm not.
Okay, I got it, because he's become the heart and soul of your whole franchise.
The Nets got the best package.
But listen, James Harden, he is a big difference maker. I realize he doesn't have much to show for himself in the postseason. Yeah. And I realize he has come up smaller and smaller in the postseason. But he is so gifted. He is such a talent. He is so rare that he just doesn't come along very often to be available.
No.
Okay, so Nets, they have a lot of pieces they could give up. They might have to give up about 2/3 of their roster.
Yes, and you should be willing to, because like you said, these guys don't come available often.
They don't. Okay, so let's deal with the hypothetical. We mentioned it yesterday at the end of the show because we weren't sure about it, but now it sounds like James has said, I am not going to sign a $50 million deal to stay here, an extension.
Right.
I want to go there. It's been widely reported he really wants to join forces with KD and Kyrie. Now, let's do the hypothetical. How would it work? So I slept on it last night, and I tried to think, okay, could it work? Well, if I ran the Nets, I would try to make it work because it's just so rare you get this kind of firepower. Yeah. Okay, so what are we dealing with here?
Maybe never.
Maybe never. Well, I mean, obviously.
KD and LeBron, but Skip, James Harden is average 36 year before, 34 last year. He's a walking 30 points. And I'd rather watch him play than Russell has made the triple-double obsolete. But at least when I'm watching James Harden, I'm thinking, is he going to get me 60 tonight? Is he? Because that's the expectation. He get 35. You're like, man, James, you losing it.
Okay, so we would throw together 3 players who have James Harden, 1 MVP, and 8 All-Stars. Yeah, that's a lot. KD has an MVP. It's back in 2014, but he's made 10 All-Star teams. And by the way, James has finished second 3 times and third once in the MVP. So he's right at the top year after year after year. Mm-hmm. And Kevin has finished second 3 times in the MVP race. Kyrie hasn't even registered in the MVP race, not one time, but he's 6 All-Stars, and he's got something James does not have. He's got a ring. And obviously, KD has 2 rings and 2 Finals MVPs. Mm-hmm. So Kyrie can say, well, we're on equal footing because I made a shot that won a championship.
But they're not on equal footing.
Okay, I got it. I got it. But here's the clash that's going to start to happen. You have a coach who's a first-timer. He's never coached anywhere in his life than Steve Nash. And you have a KD and a Kyrie who said, what was it, like 3-4 weeks ago? We don't really need a coach. You don't?
I might coach, KD might coach.
Yeah, okay. Well, if somehow you do add James Harden to this mix, you don't just need a coach. You need a referee. You need a policeman. You need somebody, right? A therapist. You need somebody to come in and rule over this, because one basketball for 3 people who need the basketball.
Yeah.
Okay, so which player would I trust the most in this 3-way relationship? It'd be Durant.
KD,
because,
absolutely.
To your point, he's a walking 30 points. Well, that was the old Iguodala quote going back a couple of years ago, and the rest of the quote was, he'll get you 30 points on 12 shots.
Right.
That's very, very hard to do, very efficient. Most guys need to feel the ball in their hands to get a rhythm. He doesn't, okay? So you have that going for you that when you look at what 2017, when he went to Golden State in the regular season and even in the postseason, he averaged only the 3rd most shots on the team, and he won Finals MVP.
And that's why he can do it, Skip, because he's used to playing. He did for 3 years. He played without the ball in his hand the majority of the time.
He did.
Steph had the ball in his hands the lion's share of the time. So there's no problem with him. It's Kyrie and James. Okay. How do they do?
Okay, I believe James would be somewhat willing to sacrifice because he needs a ring. So he did sacrifice, as you pointed out yesterday, his usage rate, which is how much time do you have the ball in your hands, although his is like this, right? He didn't actually hold on the ball. He just dribbles and dribbles it until the air comes out of the ball. But the point is, His usage rate fell to third last year when he's led the league a couple of times, going back a couple. Okay, all right. So would he defer in the beginning to Kyrie? He might, but again, Kyrie definitely needs the ball in his hands.
Right.
He's not the highest usage rate, but he wants to run the show because he's much more of a pure point guard than James is, even though we know Kyrie can score 52.
Right.
So to me, I tweeted about this last night. To me, the over-under on Kyrie hating playing with James Harden would be like one game.
Yeah.
Seriously, because it's not what he's ever known, because even LeBron would share with him like crazy when they first started playing together the first time
remember
around.
LeBron would give Kyrie the ball and go stand in the corner. Okay, do your thing,
Do your thing. But that's LeBron. He is a ball sharer. We know that. And he always wanted to do whatever it took to make it work.
Correct.
Well, I just don't know that James even understands how to do that.
I don't either.
Right? And so Kyrie versus James would be a nightly battle about, and Kyrie, as we know, James doesn't say much after games, but Kyrie is known to just blurt out whatever's on his mind to the detriment of his team, right? So I would think he would cause nothing but problems, and if he had a veteran coach overseeing, I don't know, a Doc or a Phil Jackson or somebody who's been there and done all that with superstars, won rings before, maybe that kind of a coach and mentor could say, hey, we need to do this to get to that.
Right.
Well, Steve Nash can't do that. They're not going to listen to Steve Nash.
First-year coach, and I get it. You know, you look in and you say, well, you look at Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr, first year, he didn't have these kind of personalities. He had Steph Curry. Well, basically, you got two Steph Currys and a mini Steph in Kyrie, because James Harden believes he's the equal to Steph. KD believes he's better than Steph.
He does.
At the worst.
Absolutely.
So how does a first-year coach come in and says, okay, guys, Skip, you say it's going to work. I don't know how you ask a guy that's averaging over 30 points a game the last 3 years, say, I'm going to need you to bump that down, take that down to about 23, 24. And I'm going to need KD, you going to get your 25, 26. And Kyrie says, well, hey, what about my 24, 25?
Yep.
I don't know how you do that, Skip, because Mike D'Antoni, whose system that Steve Kerr is going to implement, couldn't do it with Russ and Harden. At the end of the day, for whatever reason, Russ either wanted more touches or wanted to be more involved in the offense. Something transpired that said Russ says, I need to leave. Now, they can say whatever reasons they want to be. I still love James Harden, but something transpired that Russ wanted to get out of Houston. Something is going on now, and we believe that he was not conferred with about the changes, the general manager and the head coach. Okay, fine, I get that. But, Skip, something went wrong that all of a sudden Russ wanted out. Now, that's my best friend. That's my boy. That's my boy. Skip, we grew up together. We know each other. But you know what? We still going to be boys, but I don't want to play over here anymore.
Yep. And I thought it worked about as well as it could have.
Yes, I agree.
And even Russ said no to that. Well, good luck to him, because I have no idea. It's either Knicks or Charlotte with Michael Jordan, because Michael just needs another sideshow, right? He needs a draw. Okay? So the reason I'm struggling with this is I have already picked the Nets before any of this happened to win the East, with KD Kyrie added to, what do we see at the end of the bubble regular season?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, LeVert. And we didn't even have Dinwiddie wasn't even with them. But Jared Allen, those three players, and then you got Taurean Prince, and you got DeAndre Jordan for whatever's left in him, and Garrett Temple. They got a nice team that was playing at a pretty high level without KD and Kyrie.
And that's what the thought process was. You're watching them in the bubble, and you say, when they get these two guys back with what they already have, man, they're going to be to deal with. If they can blend this thing together, now, Skip, look, sometimes you can have too much of ingredients. You know how you make a dish, you're like, man, this tastes good. Man, I wonder if I add this a little bit more nutmeg, a little bit vanilla. Bro, Skip, you can add too much ingredients to a dish and it won't be good. This might be adding too much ingredients to a dish and not make it well.
It could be. And yet, this team with all these nice other players, all those nice other players are going to have to be gone.
Oh, absolutely.
So you're going to have your big three and what? I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe
you got to fill in the pieces.
Maybe you only have three starters a night, right? That might work. It might be revolutionary. They'll just play three players.
Yeah, so you're going to probably lose LeVert, Dinwiddie, Prince, Allen, and at the bare minimum, 3 picks.
Okay. All right. Now, what I slept on was, what have I always been taught back to my days with Phil Jackson, Jerry Krause in Chicago, and even before that with Dick Motta in Dallas? What is the mantra of the National Basketball Association? You win with stars, superstars. What happened? LeBron finally said after that first go-round in Cleveland, I just need stars.
Yes.
I got a lot of nice pieces here, but I need stars. I need Dwayne and I need Chris Bosh.
Right.
And then we can fill around it with a lot of nice pieces. And all those nice pieces helped out when in his first run to his first ring, right? But you got to have superstars to win it all. Here, obviously, LeBron needed Anthony Davis. Right. You can give him all those kids you want. All those kids who are with the Pelicans now.
Yep,
but you can only go so far with those kids so far because they all haven't arrived yet. Maybe at some point they will arrive. But when I woke up this morning, I thought, well, wait a second. If I'm running the Nets and you told me I could have KD, Kyrie, and James Harden, maybe I just bite the bullet. You know, I just close my eyes and I say, it's so much firepower. It's historic combination of firepower. Is it possible? We've never seen anything quite like this. I mean, you can say KD to Golden State, but is this beyond that?
Yeah, I believe so, Skip. But here's the thing. The reason why LeBron and AD work is that they're two different players.
Absolutely. And plus, they're represented by the same company, which is obviously LeBron's company, but still, they became big brother, little brother right away to where they seem like they're best friends to me.
Right. Bird and McHale work because they did different things.
Totally.
Kyrie and James Harden is basically, Kyrie is a smaller version, a right-handed version of James Harden.
Yep.
Pat the rock, get my shot, pat, clock, run it down, pass to someone else.
Okay. Well, how about the Showtime Lakers with Magic running the show and James Worthy on the wing and Kareem?
There were three great players, Skip, but they all did different things.
Completely different, and they meshed like this.
Right. And so Kareem didn't need, Skip, Kareem didn't need the ball.
No. And he had low ego. He wasn't a complainer. He just played.
Because think about that. Kareem, the year that Magic got there, Kareem was the MVP.
Yep.
Kareem was the MVP of the league. Now, how many guys you know, Skip? I'm the MVP of the league, and this rookie comes in, win Finals MVP. I'm need more shots. I need me, because he trying to steal my shine.
Yep.
Kareem like, hey, and Magic was fighting up this Cap. He still refers to him as Cap. Hey, we're going to run the break. Now, if we don't got the break, Skip, hey, Cap, get down on the block. Let me throw you this ball. You can throw this sky hook on him. Skip, like I said, they're unbelievable talent. James Harden is as gifted scorer as that we've seen. And if you talk about Magic, you talk about Magic, you talk about Mike, you talk about Kobe. James Harden is right there with him as far as scoring the basketball. I'm not saying he's a better player, but I'm saying putting the ball in the basket. James Harden is equal to those guys. Skip.
Well, he's the greatest perimeter scorer I've ever seen.
Yeah. And so, but Kyrie and KD, Skip, man.
Okay, it has disaster written all over it, but I promise you, if you were in charge of the Nets, when push came to shove, if the deal's on the table, I think you just close your eyes and say, I got to try this.
You might have to. Even though you know it might cause an explosion, you're like, you know what, hey.
Hey, would you not be the focal point of the basketball world from here to China? That's all anybody would be talking about is, oh, my God.
Everybody's loading up.
Yeah.
You look at these trades, Skip, everybody's loading up, and what Michael Jordan and a few owners were afraid of is that you're going to have 4 or 5 teams, and then everybody else just...
Yeah. Okay. So would you rather be Michael Jordan with Russell Westbrook as your solo star, or would you rather sit up in Brooklyn and you had KD, Kyrie, and James Harden?
Right. Yeah.
Well, I think you'd try that.
Yeah, because that's what you're going with, Skip. You're going with guys. You look at what's transpiring, Skip.
Yep.
We're going to talk about Milwaukee, what they did. You see what the Lakers are trying to do. You see what Brooklyn's trying to do. Like I said, it's going to be 4 or 5 teams. And then the other 25, you got no chance. But it's fun. It's going to be fun watching, but you got no chance.
I'll be watching.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.